Yeah, like he's had 7 races, 5 wins, and 2 narrow defeats. Um, basically, has gone up as fast as any horse has in Hong Kong. So yeah, he's pretty exciting sprinter.
I know initially, David, having spoken to you about this horse, you were obviously, you were pretty sure that he was going to climb the ranks, but were you even a little bit taken aback by how quickly he sort of rose?
The day I got the biggest surprise was when he carried 135 and the authority won in class. I know it was only in class 3, but class 3 races are very hard to win in Hong Kong. And I thought, wow, you're a bit special when he did that as a 3-year-old. So, carrying top weights, fine, but to do it as a young horse is very, very hard to do.
Yeah, as you say, arguably a tougher ask, I suppose, than perhaps when he did win his Group 3, which obviously he didn't carry much weight winning that Sha Tin Vase. He's had a recent trial, David. The trial visually looked really good.
Yeah, we sort of weren't too hard on him because it was just a week before the race, and Zach was happy. He relaxed. What I liked, he relaxed. He quickened up well. They ran fast time. Look, he'll obviously be improved, being first up, and he's been set for December. But I think he's done enough work to be very competitive if the weight doesn't stop him.
There's been a bit in the press, David, obviously on this horse, given how exciting he is. Obviously, you've made mention that that fourth run, hopefully, will be the international. So you've got a distinct plan in mind.
Yeah, when you're at that rating, there's not many races you can go for. It's basically set out for you. So I wanted to give him a break at the end of the season. So he's had, I think, close to 100 days between runs. So he does need to get racing, and there's not another race for 6 weeks for him. So he'll get nice gaps between his races.
Oh, look, happy to have her on board, of course. A -10 apprentice can always be a handy one for the stable, and hopefully it'll be a good journey for her. If you look at the previous apprentices that have come to Hong Kong, they're probably a little bit more advanced than what she is. So, I hope the expectation is not too daunting for her, and the experience is a kind one for her, because it'll be very tough. Hopefully she can hit the ground running, but as I said, she's probably not quite as advanced as the others at this stage, but she's a very confident young lady, and she's got a very firm handshake on her, and she knows how to talk. So look, I hope she can continue to improve and grasp the opportunity that she's been given.
Your time with her has been limited. Obviously, the season is only just about to start. What do you think you need to work on? What are the skills and the attributes that she will need to work on the most, do you feel?
Well, I think, from my point of view, I mean, they're getting the best help they can. We've got sort of Felix Kutsi at the head of the apprentice school, and he's working with them every day. So I won't interfere with that side of things too much, but it'll just be some fine-tuning things that I can try and help and guide her along the way, and maybe help her select the right rides, and just point her in the right direction when it's needed, more than anything. So basically all the skill set is being handled by the experts. I didn't ride in a race myself, so I'm not going to have too much advice there, but I'll be critical on when the time's right, and as I said, try and help and guide her and point her in the right direction.
Final question from me is about your stable. It's not about Britney. A very good 23-24 campaign for the David Hall stable. What about this season?
Yeah, look, the last 2 years have been our best 2 years, and we had a Group 1 winner last year. So, obviously we're very happy with the way things have gone, and going into the next year, it probably there's the carrot there to try and improve even more. So the numbers are looking good. We've got quite a few new horses. So it probably depends on how quickly those new horses acclimatise, and if we can get some wins out of the newer ones, then perhaps we can continue on and do even better. But looking forward to it. Hopefully Invincible Sage has got a little bit more to offer, and there's a few promising young ones there that can step up a little bit more as well.
Mark Newnham, many thanks for joining me. You've got only a small team going to the first meeting of the new season, but a very interesting runner for you in race 5 is My Wish, who showed some good improvement from first to second start.
Yeah, look, he's shown nice ability since he arrived in Hong Kong. He arrived here with only one trial, and he's only a small, immature sort of horse. So a couple of runs at the end of the season were good. He was nailed right on the line, which was unfortunate at his latest start. And he's had a good off season, prepared well, trialled well, so he's going there in good order.
Just having a look at that trial, Mark, he did it all sort of under his own steam, hit the line well, not really asked a great deal. You must have been pleased with that.
Yeah, and look, he didn't need to do any more than that. He's a horse with, doesn't carry any excess weight, and that'll just bring him up nicely for a first up run.
Yeah, it leads me on nicely, actually. I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, he weighed in twice last year at 9.87 and 9.73. So he is a very slight character, isn't he?
Yeah, look, there's not much of him, but look, he's holding his condition better this time in, and I think just that little break during the off season has just given him that bit more time he needed. He'll never be a big horse, but he's handling the training better at this stage than he was 3 months ago.
And just on yourself, Mark, and your team, I had a look, 62 in work going into this season. You got to, I think, 31 last year, sort of top half of the Trainers' Premiership. So you must be looking forward to the new season ahead.
Yeah, can't wait to get started. It seems to have been a long time since we've been at the races. So, for me, having that break is a little foreign, but I enjoyed it, but ready to get going now. We've got a nice team of young horses and got a lot of new stock as well. There's probably 22 horses there that still haven't raced in Hong Kong, and a lot of those are PPGs as well. So we'll have a bit more to start the season with this time around, but again, I would say past Christmas we'll have a lot of these new horses ready to go.
Lyle, you've got Ching as one of your rides for the season opener on Sunday, race number 7. Good competitive race, but in your mount, you've got a good competitive horse who finished last season on a high.
Yeah, he's obviously been a fantastic horse to me in Hong Kong. And last time, I just thought his win was extra special because he had such an interrupted prep throughout the season with a few setbacks, and we got him in good form going into the race. Well, Michael and his team did, and yeah, trialed up nicely going towards this race, and then we had to change tactics midway through, and he still managed to pull off a very strong win. So yeah, he's a horse I love to bits, and he's going to make his seasonal debut as all the others, and I'm sure he'll make it a good one.
Just on that win, Lyle, I mean, he had to dig deep, but he did, didn't he? I mean, he's a big horse. There's plenty of him, but once he gets rolling, he must be a hard horse to pass.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. He was probably out on his feet over the last 100, and he was there to be beaten. But just being such a big horse with a big galloping action, even though he was out of fuel towards the end, I would say his big stride and big heart just kept him rolling enough to fend off the challenges. And I did feel like he always did enough to keep his head in front. Had it been another 50, he probably could have still managed to hold that margin. So yeah, it was a great win and testament to his character.
What did you make of his recent trial? He didn't look to be put under any sort of great pressure in the trial.
Yeah, I was very pleased. He's a horse that always gives me a great feel in the trials, and I know exactly how well he's doing. And there was nothing wrong with that. He's come from last season's winning form and brought it into this season, I believe.
For you, Lyle, obviously with the off season now behind us as we work towards the first weekend, have you enjoyed it? Have you managed to freshen up a bit and looking forward to the new season, I'm sure?
Yeah, we had some time away. Did a couple of days in Dubai, and then most of it was spent in Italy. But I kind of enjoy a bit of routine. So when we went to Australia and did a bit of racing, I really enjoyed that. Getting fit, feeling the horses again, getting my eye in, and meeting new people. So yeah, I feel good coming back. It's put me in good stead for the start of the season, and hopefully we can bounce straight onto it.
Ben Thompson, opening day of the season coming up. I imagine all the jockeys are very excited for it. You've got 7 rides. You've got a strong-looking book, but perhaps the strongest ride might well be Ballistic Win, who was pretty good when we last saw him.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. He was fantastic at his his last run of the previous season. He'd sort of been leading up to a win like that, you could say, with his 2 runs at 1200 before stepping up to the 1400. So hopefully he can pick up from where he left off.
You've only ridden him 3 times, Ben. I mean, obviously, his best performances have been with you on board, so that obviously speaks volumes. But what do you think it is, sort of in discussion with Ben O'Young, that sort of brought this horse sort of a coming of age almost? Because his last 3 runs, as you say, they really have shown good improvement.
Yeah, it's I think just from my experience with him, just natural maturity. Like you see with a lot of horses, the more racing they have and more familiar they get with, racing in a field, and you can take a bit of field sense. I think it's now starting to really pay off. And as you could say that the more racing he's had, the better he's got. So it was his 3rd attempt at 1400 when he broke through at his last start, but by far and away the best did run that out. So I think he's just probably learned, obviously we've learned more about the horse, what pattern, what seems to be the best way to ride him, and it paid off last time. So hopefully myself, Benno, and Connections can continue to reap the rewards with him.
Yeah, he seemed to gather them up quickly last time, Ben, from wide. I mean, interesting of his last 2 runs, he's win and he's second. He's dashed wide and come wide. What about gate number 2 for him this time in? Because obviously he's close to the inside now. A bit more cover there, perhaps.
Yeah, I'd say that realistically he's going to be very likely to race on the fence, which he did 3 back when he stormed home over 1200 up the inside. So even the barrier trial that he had leading into Sunday, he was on the fence amongst horses. A bit of a different scenario being on the all-weather track opposed to the turf on Sunday. Though I'm not too concerned by it. I think that he can, given the way that the feel that he's given me in amongst horses, I feel as though if he gets the first half of the race right, just travels on his terms, hopefully step well, and I could see him in a midfield position opposed to being, 3/4 of the way back. He can still rally off the same turn of foot as he has, getting to the outside.
David, Mastermind, bit of a mouthful, but he's lining up for his 5th start now in Hong Kong. He had the 4 runs last season, and to his credit, he ran well on all 4 of them, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and he ran like a horse that'll get better. I think his future is going to be as a Hong Kong miler. We've put the blinkers on. His trial was very good in the blinkers. They didn't run fast time, but he was terrific through the line. Got a tricky gait and a good jockey, so hopefully he'll be very competitive.
Yeah, always handy when you've got those attributes. I must ask just on his form. I went back through and had a look at that run 2 starts ago, David, behind Devano. He ran second behind what looks a useful horse for Francis Lloyd, but the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th all won next time. That was 1200. That form's very strong.
Yeah, it's a tough race, but he did, and he hasn't won, but the runs have been of a horse that's going to win very soon.
And the application, you say, of those blinkers, he sort of justified it, I suppose, with that trial. He looked strong.
Yeah, look, he's always worked like a fast horse, but he hasn't run like one. He's sort of always finishing his races off, getting it wrong mid-race. I'm just hoping it just lets him travel a bit easier and he can unleash a big finish. So a tough race, but he'll be very competitive.